Hi, everybody. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I'm super excited to be here to do my icebreaker speech. And as Nancy said, my speech is called You Can Do Anything. And my purpose behind that is to really talk about everyone's passion within them and a purpose-driven life. Two quotes that really came to mind when I was thinking about this speech were one being, we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 years. And that really speaks to my life and the goals that I've had and the visions for my life that I've had that didn't really happen within a year, but took time. And after, giving it a decade, definitely can see what can happen and maybe what we underestimate. I grew up in Snohomish, born and raised out here in North Snohomish. I went to Snohomish High School. I wasn't the best at school, didn't really care too much, got through and barely got into Eastern Washington University. And my main goal of going to college was to not be the only person left behind at home. And so that was my purpose of going to college. And the vision was to not be stuck at home by myself without anybody else. Throughout college, I definitely found myself a little bit more. I had a lot of fun. I had changed majors, failed some classes, but still managed to get out in 4 years, which I was very proud of. Struggled in my 20s while also finding CrossFit. I'd played rugby in college and absolutely loved it. CrossFit was that next level for me that was a huge passion. It was a newer thing when I joined 15 years ago, and I had a goal of getting as far in CrossFit as possible in the athletic pro side type thing. It was a passion. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything other than this is a really hard thing and a really cool thing, and I feel great doing it. And I went after it. Fast forward to 2024. In the world of CrossFit, there's the day-to-day workout side where it's for anybody, for someone that just joined, someone that hasn't worked out for 20 years. And then there's the athletic side where I ended up ranking in my age group 132nd in the world in 2024. Top 30 go to the CrossFit Games, which has always been a goal of mine, which got hampered this last year when I had back surgery. And it helped me to refocus my life a bit, with my focus being on a recent book that I published. I'm going to go into that in a second. Along with the whole CrossFit goals, I also had a major vision in my life. I love the word vision because I guess I'm already talking about that a lot. A huge vision for being a business owner. My vision that I really had when I was younger was to own multiple businesses. And I've now owned 2 businesses. I had closed down one. It was a CrossFit gym before, and now I own CrossFit Chateau in Woodinville, Washington. And I've owned that for 9+ years now. Business is tough. When it's going good, it's amazing. And when it's not, the opposite happens. And so tying back into you can do anything, we can do anything. And we've heard that many times in our lives, I'm sure many of us have. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I'm very thankful that I've followed these passions and haven't chosen the safe route, which ties me into my next quote, which is from Jim Carrey. And it's, you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well chance doing what you love. He brings this in from his dad, who chose accounting rather than going into comedy to be the safe option, and he got fired from that safe option. And so I heard Jim Carrey say this speech once, and it really stuck with me. And I'm really glad that my life has allowed me to follow my passions, from CrossFit to business to now publishing a book. The book is a huge passion, huge mission, huge part of my life. And back in 2016, hopefully you're all following me here. I'm gonna hitting a lot of different things. Back in 2016, I went through a major family tragedy. So hold on to your seats for a second. My brother went mentally insane from a mental health crisis due to mental illness and drugs. He murdered my mom, burned down our childhood home, and almost murdered my dad. I had a light or a fire inside of me. As I was preparing, the word fire inside of me didn't feel right after the house fire, but it still makes sense. I had this light inside of me that I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book about a mission trip that I went on in Haiti. I wanted to write a book about my first business. Those never happened. When this happened to my family and my life, it just felt natural to share, to write, to journal, to get this out there. And I'm very open about talking about it because just by sharing it helps me to not be living it alone and living it in my own little dark world by myself. And so the writing has been very therapeutic. And my mission behind this is to cause change within Washington State in the mental health field, to inspire others to share their stories, to not live it alone, to just make as much of an impact as possible, because this was such a insane event, and it doesn't happen to every household, but many of us know someone who is struggling, or families that are having a hard time with a sibling or even a parent or a extended family member. And so my mission was to share our experience, share what happened, share what we went through, so others can learn from it and can relate to it, as no one handed me a book when this happened to me. You can do anything, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Owning a business isn't easy. Becoming top 132 in the world in CrossFit isn't easy. Publishing a book and wanting to create a huge mission and a huge platform for change and for inspiration and for helping others to go through their trauma isn't easy. But I'm following my passion, and I'm trusting God to bless me with this, to take me as far as possible, and to make the biggest difference. In memory of my mom and my brother and my dad and our whole family. I have my dad still. My brother's in jail. And I just feel deep down that this could have been a different story. You can do anything is the premise of my speech. And I just wanted to share the parts of my life that weren't necessarily the normal road traveled, that I went on, that I persevered with, and that by not quitting, not giving up, and pushing through, that I've been blessed. I have more than I would have expected, and I just wanted to share this with everybody, and hopefully you learn a bit about me, and hopefully we can have more time to learn more. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Madam Toastmaster, thank you.